I've saved the best for last. For-each loops are my favorite when it comes to looping through arrays. You can use for-each loops with any type of array. And your array can have any key value. You can choose to grab just the item value or the key value as well. A for-each loop is a lot like combining the while statement with the each function, only even easier. Enough talk. Let's start using a for-each loop to loop through our associative array of tasks. I've included a file to download in the teacher's notes for our list of items. It's called list.php, and it contains a multidimensional array called list that is formatted exactly like the multidimensional array we created earlier. I just added a few more items for testing purposes. Feel free to create your own list of to-do items. We're going to be using the for-each loop extensively for our to-do app, so let's open up our todo.php file. Instead of adding the array directly, let's include the list.php file. After downloading the file from the teacher's notes, you can upload the new file by right-clicking and choosing Upload File. We then choose list.php and then choose Open. Now we can remove this array and include list.php. The include works just as if we had pasted the code from our list.php file directly into this file. But by using an include, we can keep things organized and easier to read. Now that our list array is available to loop through, let's start our for-each loop. Since this is a for-each loop, we use the keyword for-each. We then add parentheses for our evaluation and curly braces for the code we'll be executing with each loop. This is just like we've done for the other loops. Within the parentheses, we tell the loop which array we want to use. We then use the keyword as. For each item in our list, we want to work with it as the variable item. This will assign one item from the list to the variable item on each loop. Item is now an associative array with a named key and value. Within the curly braces, we can add echo, item, title, and then a line break. Now let's preview this file in the browser. We see a list of item titles, which is just what we want. Along with our var dump, we can get rid of that. Now let's go back and display our items as a table with all the associated values. We'll remove this var dump, and then we'll add our table. We need the table tags to be on the outside of our for-each loop, because we only want to add those once. Let's also set up a header row before the loop as well. For each loop, we're going to add a new row to the table. So let's add our opening and closing table row tags. Now we can add table cell tags around the title. And we can change our line break to end the table cell. Let's duplicate the title row 3 times for priority, due date, and completion status. Now let's refresh the browser again. This time we see a list of items in a table with their priority, due date, and completion status. The completion status only shows us one if complete, which we know means true, but it's not very user-friendly. Let's add a conditional so we can change the display of the complete status. We'll put the opening and closing table cells on their own line. Then we'll add an if statement between them. If complete, then we can echo yes. Else, we'll echo no. Now let's refresh our browser again. This time we see yes or no depending on the item status. I told you we can also grab the key along with the value. So let's create a new for each loop. Let's add this new for each above the table. Instead of just saying for each loop as item, we're going to add a second variable to represent the key. Let's call this key, and we add it before the item. Then we use our double arrow, equal, greater than, to represent the key-value relationship, just like we used when assigning our associative array. Now let's echo out our key along with the item. Now let's refresh our browser. Now we can see the key along with the title of each item. Great job learning to use the for each loop. I know that you'll find it as useful as I do. We have our to-do app displaying our list of items with all the details, but I haven't shown you how to do some more advanced sorting on our multidimensional arrays. And this list could really use some help with sorting. So in the next video, I'm going to combine the things that we've learned throughout this course to make our to-do app a lot more functional.